All right, Strias, you doing all right?
Yeah.
Your turn. Week 3. You've seen how it goes, but this time we're gonna shift it up a little bit because I understand you're a left-handed person.
Yep.
I'm right-handed. So this time, once you make a shot with your left hand, you have to switch hands so you're not using your dominant hand. Sound good?
Yeah.
You feeling confident?
Nope.
You should not be. Oh! You ready?
Yeah.
You ready? Oh! Switch hands, left, right, left, right, right. That's my dominant hand. I can't make it left. Oh, man. Now left. Left. Oh! Strias, you're killing me! Ah! Oh!
Let's go!
I couldn't make a shot to save my life. We ready for round 2?
I'm ready for round 2.
All right. Righty. Lefty. Lefty.
Oh, I'm locked
Lefty.
in now.
Righty. Righty. Lefty. Lefty.
I am locked in right now.
What is happening? I can't make me a left-handed shot! Strias! Dude! Oh, man! All right. All right. I can live with that. Nicely done.
That was just luck.
Nicely done.
Guys, I have to confess something right out of the gate. Nothing I can do about it. I'm from Ohio. I am. I was raised there. And guess what? I love it. I love the people. I love the places. I love the culture, the food. And oh yeah, I love the sports. You know, a lot of people in Ohio love their sports. So for those of us who are sports fans, we got pretty excited when we heard about this young up-and-coming high school student who was absolutely dominating the high school basketball scene in our state. He was mowing down competition. In fact, ESPN started carrying a lot of the high school games so that the whole world could watch this kid play. It was pretty impressive. Well, after he graduated high school, he announced that he was gonna go pro, straight into the NBA. And it just so happened, miraculously that year, that Ohio's professional basketball team, the Cleveland Cavaliers, had the #1 overall pick. And who did they pick? The hometown kid. With the first pick in the 2003 NBA draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers selected LeBron James. You know it's true. Hate or love, LeBron James is one of the greatest basketball players who will have ever played the game when all is said and done. And we got a front row seat for much of his early career in Ohio. In fact, LeBron was so good, he took one of the worst teams in the NBA and he took them to the playoffs just 2 years later and to the finals just 4 years later. A feat that was absolutely unthinkable just a couple of years before. Absolutely incredible. But over the course of time, he never won a championship. Things started to get a little tense between the fans from Ohio and LeBron to the point where in 2010, LeBron did one of the dumbest things that anyone has ever seen done. LeBron went on national television to announce to the whole world that he was, well, never mind. I'm just gonna let you watch what happened. Just give it a good look.
The answer to the question everybody wants to know. LeBron, what's your decision?
In this fall, man, this is very tough. In this fall, I'm gonna take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
Miami Heat.
I mean, in Ohio, it was like our hearts had been ripped out and stepped on. What a backstab. What an absolute affront. LeBron James turncoat and runs to Florida to play for the Heat. We were furious. In fact, in Cleveland, people were marching in the streets, chanting, shouting, and burning LeBron James jerseys. Seriously, this stuff happened because we felt like we had been broken up with in front of the entire world. Well, LeBron goes to Florida and everyone hates him. But he won a couple of championships. He had a pretty good run in Miami, if I'm being honest. And then something outrageous happened. I don't know what happened to LeBron in those 4 years, but he was able to get over all of the hate, all of the vitriol that the fans from Ohio had thrown his way. And in 2014, he announced that he had decided to re-sign with the Cleveland Cavaliers. This is like unthinkable. No one saw that coming. The question was, what would the fans from the great state of Ohio do? Would they forgive him? Would they boo him? Would they throw D batteries at him when he was on the court? Nobody knew. But after he signed, his jerseys started flying off the shelves and people almost immediately embraced him for the great player that he was and for the eventual loyalty that he showed to our state. And of course, you know the rest. LeBron James went on to bring Cleveland its first championship in sports in generations. The guy is the GOAT to the city of Cleveland. If you ask anybody from Cleveland, who's the greatest NBA player? You know who you're gonna hear. Love him or hate him, LeBron James. But that story, it would never have been possible without forgiveness. Not just from LeBron, but also from the people and the sports fans from Ohio. You know, in this series, we've been telling these stories of these great NBA players that maybe some people even consider to be the greatest of all time. But we've been kind of comparing them to the guy that we know is the GOAT, the absolute, unparalleled, unrivaled greatest of all time. You know who it is. It's Jesus. And here's the story. When it comes to forgiveness, there is no one who showed us what that looks like more than Jesus did. Not LeBron, not the people of the great state of Ohio, Jesus. Here's how it went. In the book of Matthew, chapter 5, Jesus was giving probably his most famous message ever. You can look it up for yourself. It's 3 chapters long, Matthew 5, 6, and 7. It's called the Sermon on the Mount. And in chapter 5, he tells us something that was kind of revolutionary and pretty difficult to do. He said, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. In other words, forgive people. When they hurt you, when they do stuff to you, forgive them. But Jesus didn't stop with just words in a message. Jesus went on to actually have to do that at the most excruciating moment of his life. In Luke chapter 23 and verse 34, you'll read this verse, and I just want to give you a little context with it. Jesus is looking out over this crowd of people, and he's looking to his right and to his left, and there's criminals on each side of him. And there's a group of people who are looking at him hanging on a cross. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's like a piece of wood that Jesus had been laid down on, and nails had been put into his wrists and into his feet to hold him on this piece of wood. And then they raised him up. And in that verse in Luke, Jesus said this, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they do. It wasn't just words for Jesus. At the most horrific and excruciating moment of his entire life, he put it into practice. He prayed forgiveness for these people who were persecuting him. That's an amazing and incredible thing. And his forgiveness in that moment paved the way for all of us to be forgiven by God so that we could spend the rest of our eternity with him. You guys, that forgiveness piece, in the greatest story ever told, that piece was one of the key components. Do you want to be like Jesus? I hope so. I hope that's all of our goals. If we want to consider ourselves to be Christ-centered difference makers, man, I hope that we're taking these lessons from Jesus' life, seeing his example, and putting that into practice in our own lives. And in this day, this case, when it comes to forgiveness, how are you doing forgiving people? People who have hurt you, people who have offended you, people who have made you feel less than you know you are. Are you finding it easy right now to forgive that person that's coming to mind? If not, what do you need to do to be more like Jesus? CCV students, listen, it's not easy, but at the most excruciating moment of his life, Jesus found it within himself to forgive those who hurt him. Let me encourage you today. Find it in yourself to be like Jesus and learn to forgive. That is what Christ-centered difference makers do.